First, I'd like to say prayers to the Kirk family, especially his little ones and his wife, who have just recently lost a husband and a father. And no one deserves that, especially at such a young age. And as someone who personally faced the possibility of not having a father at a young age due to certain outside forces, but luckily my dad is still here. I know just what that fear is, and then they have to relive this the rest of their lives. They have to remember that and then they have video, and no child, no, I don't care what your political beliefs are, no child deserves that. And I will be praying for them just as much as I'll be praying for the other victims of violence this past week alone with babies at these schools, and even in the victims over in Nepal. They are going on the prayer chain. And with that being said, Christians, the church, the body, we have to be more careful, because we've been duped by what this man represented and what he was doing. Like, I get he claimed Jesus Christ. I get that. But you can confess with your tongue, but still, out of the heart, out of the mouth, the heart speaks. And how you walk in this life, how you serve, that represents the love of God and the Holy Spirit within you. When Jesus Christ was asked about what is the most important commandment, my man said, love thy neighbor. What's loving about denying atrocity, denying oppression, invalidating the lack of equity, and just being full-blown like racist? And I'm not just pointing at him, but he was the spokesperson of Christian nationalism, and Christian nationalism is a rebranded white nationalism, which is a brother to alt-right, which is a child of white supremacy. Because all these Christian nationalists, all these churches, all these politicians, all these clean-cut people who care about money, low taxes, that want walls to be built up, that want everybody brown to be kicked out and to stay the same level, but anybody white deserves just as much, and that believe in the merit doctrine, when this nation wasn't built on merit. This nation was built on capitalizing, being capitalist, on enslaved people against their will. That was built on the bones of people who suffered genocide. There was no merit. And yes, people had to work hard in other areas in these microcosms, but fundamentally, nothing was built on merit here. We just swallowed that pill and believed it was medicine, but it was a placebo. The gospel that was preached from this particular individual that was supported, that's what I'm getting at. The support, he was just the mouthpiece, but the support that he got, that's the issue. You can hide behind Second Amendment rights. Second Amendment rights, I 100% believe in that, because Jesus even said in Luke 22, if you have no sword, sell your garment and buy a sword, so you don't perish before your due time. protect yourself. Look it up. So for all, yeah, like, and I'm not leaning one way or another. I don't care. I'm strictly Bible. But you can hide behind these issues, but it was racism and hate being pressed, lack of empathy with no compassion being pressed. This guy told a black woman, or no, a black dude that, in an argument with, the oppression, that blacks are 3 to 4 times more likely to commit crime. There's a video of that. He talked about how 13% of the population commits half of the violent crimes, which is a false narrative that I disprove by myself, and I will also link that with this video. He denies that people of certain descent are still suffering from systematic oppression to this day, when it's obvious. Because if not, we wouldn't need any DEI initiates anyway in the first place. We wouldn't need it. So how come you need to be let in the door if the door is supposed to be already open to you? That means the door was closed in the first place because you were black. Jesus, by definition, came for the poor and the brokenhearted and the ostracized people, because no one else would do it. He didn't deny the Samaritan, and the Samaritans were mixed breed people. And this dark Jew did not deny sitting down with a mixed breed woman who was committing fornication. This man did not deny lepers who were ostracized. This man did not deny anybody outside of the Hebrew scope, because they were prejudiced. Yeah, this man didn't deny aliens, immigrants. This man didn't deny sick people or lame people with disabilities. The people with the lame, the man that couldn't walk, the person that couldn't see. I can go on and on. So this goes to show you this movement is preaching a different Jesus. Just because he says Jesus doesn't mean that he loves the same Jesus. And yes, you could do certain good things, but Jesus even said, there will be many who call upon my name and get before me, but I turn from them because I never knew them. But Jesus, I've done all these works in your name. I never knew you. My love was never in you. How can I love my neighbor when I invalidate my neighbor because they're different from me? Because I don't want them to have the same access low key. So I berate them. I invalidate them. I insult them. And I make it seem like everybody else is arrogant to the equal narrative. No, the truth is right before us. But like Jesus said, we will be wise in our own eyes. We will just be all focused on what we want to do. We will be so smart, because he was a smart man. We will be so smart in our own ways that the ways of God will be dumb in the ways of God. And that's what a lot of so-called Christians have been duped to believe what is righteous. And with everything, where everything else is like, yeah, he standing on his rights and everything. But when it comes to being a Christians, we have to be self-aware. We have to rebuke stuff. While there's still time, we have to use our rights, but we are not just blessed with rights by the country. We are endowed rights by God. We are called to be ambassadors. We are called to be the lamps on the hill. You can't be a lamp on the hill if you're trying to put yourself out to blend in with the shadows, preaching the same bull crap. And I'm not liberal. I'm not left. I'm not right. I just want to be right with God. That's it. This voice, this message was not good at all. And he's about to be used as a martyr when he wasn't even preaching the right gospel. So I want all my Christians to not fall into this. You better not go in these streets. You better not listen to no garbage in the pulpit on Sunday. I don't care how much of the taxes get exempted. I don't care how many flags you got in your church. You better not listen and support no bullcrap in the next couple weeks. You better not be no part of any mobilization and stormings and marches for this. You can. Everybody has a right to do that. I'm just saying. But if you Christian, I need you to really look at this stuff. Because we talk about the other side, the left side so much. But this side, the right, you got to look at this wing too. They're wings of the same bird. Your scale must be balanced. That's biblical too. You must have righteous judgment. And look at the fruit of this tree, of this movement, through the example of my man who was tragically taken away. I wish my man was still here for his kids. So I do not want to get misquoted. He went and argued with people for a living, and he preached a false representation of Jesus Christ through the actions. And he was a representative of something much bigger that fuels white supremacy. That you guys, we got to look at this. Got to look at this. Nobody in office is an example of Jesus Christ. You can tell by the action. No one has ever been. We cannot put people up on a pedestal anymore. Got to. We got to do better as Christians. Stop falling in the wayside of the world and making everybody a celebrity and an idol. God hates idols. So Christians, really look at this fruit. Really go back. Even if you agree with something, I agree with certain things. Like I said, the Second Amendment. So, but other than that, you can't be racist and be pushing Christian stuff. You just can't. You can't be hateful just because somebody's different. You just can't. And there's a lot of pastors that preach some of this stuff too. And there's a lot of pastors that just preach about money. Black pastors. They're gonna get their judgment too. There's a lot of witches that claim Jesus, but they still witches and serve the devil. Just because someone claims Jesus and lay hands and pray in public don't mean that they're really walking it out. You judge a tree by the fruit that it bears. So you let them work it out with God and pray for them. But you can't solely be duped just because they say Christian and they say Jesus. Jesus warned about this. So look at the fruit. Look at the fruit of this movement. Stay out of this chaos in the next couple weeks. But if you're going to be arguing with me in my comments, I'm going to pray for you. I'm going to rebuke you. I'm going to delete you. And you are part of the problem. You're definitely ignorant, and you might be racist. Because that's the only points I'm really going off of right now. And that's all I really need. Jesus didn't hate nobody. He loved them enough to pick them up and make sure they got right with God. But he also didn't argue with anybody enough to be like, all right, if you in your own way, I'm going to say the truth. When you confront me, I'm going to be out. That's it. He called the Pharisees hypocrites, synagogue of Satan, vipers, and left. He wasn't arguing with people. He wasn't. So the debate and stuff is garbage. Yeah, guys. So churches, Christians, believers, if you fall into the falsehood of all this mess, you gonna pay for that. You gonna pay with judgment, just like with anything else, even if it was on the other side. And also, I want y'all to look at this too. It happened right before 9/11. And 9/11 really riled a lot of people up, as they should, and it brought a lot of certain groups together, which was good, you know, as a nation. But now you could easily see just, you know, division. And also too, I want y'all to look at, you got a high-powered weapon being used in an extremely skillful manner from 200 to 300 meters and hitting a target this wide, when usually this, you know, like, look at my head compared to my neck, it's almost not even 2/3 the size. This is not even 2/3 of this. So that was a very skilled attempt. So something is going on that we are not seeing. So Christian, you got to use your discernment on all sides right now. Don't jump into your emotions. Don't jump on the political party, because that is showing where you put the idol at, whether it's in your emotions or your political affiliation or your race. So look, y'all better not. Y'all better not. So we got to pray for the family. We got to pray for people. And we just got to keep doing what God says, no matter how hard it is. So y'all, we got this. Pray for the Kirk family. Them babies and his wife need it. Because what if that was you?